Go, right? Let's see. All right, this is homework 2. What we're implementing is, let's read through the user story. We have to implement user authentication from scratch, right? And then we have to implement some relationship with messages. It has to be a little more complicated because you have received messages and sent messages. Same model, but different things, right? And then bonus is like some of it's really hard. If you find that sometimes it takes too long, don't worry about it. Just focus on something you can get done in shorter time. I know you all have difficult, other things to do. Blocking friends, defining friendship, blocking friends. All of that can be pretty complicated, but it's very good learning. So let's create a name for our app. What should we call it? Come on. Give me a name. Rails. Upchat, yes. Okay. PostgreSQL. I just skipped test. So bad. I'll teach test next time. And then what? Upchat, right? So maybe upchat like that. Uh-oh. I forgot a new. Wait, why is it still not working? Huh? Like that? You guys know Rails better than I do now. Okay. It sucks, right? It has to connect to the internet. But if you don't, I think it skips quickly. So let's go to up. What's the first thing that we do? Come on. Get the Readme file. That's right. So I get this file, Readme, right? So I'll just download this. Uh-oh. I should have removed Readme first. So, and then download it. So this Readme, I move it to Readme, and I think git init, first commit, right? Oh, I need to add everything first, and then first commit. All right. Let's check our Readme file. What are we going to do? We're going to do user can sign up by this. So what model do we need? What model do we need? User. But for now, I just do something like I need a controller home index. And let's go to routes. Root home pound index. Make sense? Okay, so So let's see, upchat home index. Let's load the server. Obviously, this will fail. Let's load the server one more time. We haven't even created a database, so Rails DB. What's that? Create. I really love that many of you did DB. When I pull your code, I can just do DB migrate DB seed, and then a lot of you added seed, so that's awesome. So I don't need migrate or anything. I don't have anything yet. Okay, make sure you have Postgres. Oh, I think I was just saying that. Postgres app, launch it. One more time. Great. Let's see. I'm going to turn this option on so this page will automatically load, make us faster to code. All right. Home index. Uh-oh. Come on, man. Sometimes Rails 5 is really silly. It just gets stuck like that, and I can't wait for more than 5 seconds, so I'll just try it again. It just gets stuck. So, all right. So in here, maybe that's the name is upchat. Let's just implement sign in and sign up, right? Where do we go for sign? Let's do sign up first. Okay, sign up. Where do you think this would go? Resource. Think resource. New. Where should it go? User / new, right? So you can do that, or I use the Rails route thing. New user path. Great, but then we need to do Rails model, right? Now there's generate resource user. We need email, password. I think it's called password digest. Don't store password, remember? And what else? Maybe IP address and all that. Maybe that's enough, right? I need to enter my email and password and I can sign in. All right, let's do that. So what does it do? We create a migration. Always check your migration, because here I'm like, I want to look up people by email. So we have a million users, and I don't have this index. It will be very slow. Right? Imagine if you look at a newspaper, you need to find the word love. How do you do it? Cannot. But if you look at the dictionary, you can find the word love. Easy, because it's already indexed. That's a dictionary. Now, that might be enough, right? Controller, it gives me an empty controller. Helper comes with the view, so it's clear, right? And it gives me this resources users. Sounds good? DB migrate. So after that, on this view thing, I go to home index here. I save this, and I have a link sign up. I go to sign up. All right, this doesn't exist. Let's implement that. Users, there's a new. Yes, and we just say we have a user.new. Very simple. There's still nothing, and now it complained there is no view file, right? So you wonder where the view file is. Controller here, down here, view, users. There's nothing in here, so I create a new view file called new. Okay, and this is called, I'm gonna name it sign up, and let's create a form, right? Before we create a form, let's just save this. As you can see, there's a sign up there. So form for user do f dot text field what? Email. There's no need for username. Who can remember both username and email, right? What is this field? Password field, password. What's gonna happen now? It will crash or not? Weird, huh? You see why it's like it doesn't crash with password? Alright, so what else do we need to do? We need a button. And if you leave it the default, Rails is smart enough to say create user or update user. Okay, so let's make sure we can submit this. So I go to the model and I say validate email, what? Presence, true. What else? Uniqueness. If you say true, it will always check against the database, right? As long as it's not nil. But you can also add case sensitive, false. Then it also, even smarter. And then we have to deal with the password situation. Something like this. If we have a password field, that's how you set the password equals to something. Okay? And then you can read the password out. Obviously, you never display the password, so you don't need to. This is called a reader, and this is called a writer, right? In Java, you call this a setter, and this is a getter, right? Okay, so imagine I have something like this. But what do I have to do? Pretty much when the user enters the password, this is like plain raw password. Let's say raw password. You don't want to store this, so you say encrypt and self.password digest equals to something like encryption, right? Let's say we have a model called encryption.magic something like encrypt, something like that. So I just say perform on this password, and then we can save it. Make sense? Does that make sense when you submit the form? But the encryption, and then when you compare, if the user signed in, you have to compare the existing password with that. You encrypt that. There's a lot of logic. So Rails give you something called has secure password, and it's using one of the slower encryption tools called Bcrypt. So we need to add this guy. Who here has heard of Bcrypt? Keep your hand up, Bcrypt. All right, this fist means you don't know. SHA, open your hand if you know. So okay, so SHA is much faster. It's just hashing algorithm. When you do git log, here these are SHA string. This one, but let's say this is the short version. right? If there's a long format, this is still short. But when you go to GitHub, you guys know the Git string. It uses a very fast hashing algorithm. Take this content and then represent that, right? For every piece of code, it's unique with that string, but it's very fast. You don't want this algorithm to be very fast when you try the password. You want something that is a slow encryption, right? So it's called Bcrypt. So you can tell Bcrypt how slow you want, so I add this in here, gem. Now, sometimes to know what latest gem to implement, to use, I don't trust the documentation there. I look into this guy, see, this is newer than that. Of course, sometimes you get the, problem because of libraries being new. That's okay. Now, this is a short checksum, the long one like this, okay? So LinkedIn used that, so what is this guy doing for us? It's say you can. I just want to sing with those people outside. Oh man, it's so distracting. So has secure password. What does it do? It's like magic. So if I click on this thing, I explained to you a little bit. It's a Ruby module. Module is similar to a class, but you cannot .new on it. So module is usually for you to put in the class. Okay, so that's what it does here. Has secure password. Where's the? I want to look at the code on GitHub. All right. Okay, so what does it do? When you write has secure password, okay, this is in active model secure password. Again, I can do that because this one inherit from application record. And application record, do you know where application record is defined? Here, it inherit from active record base, right? So active record base include a bunch of active model modules. All right. So in here, there's a method called has secure password. So when you include has secure password, it does this. It say, hey, load the Bcrypt gem. If not, throw an error. Make sense? Okay. Hey, add some validations. It include this model and then add some validation. It will say there's a validation for password. If the person doesn't enter the password in the form, when you submit the form, it will complain. That's a validation, right? Remember? So this has secure password. Just did something like this for me. Validate password. Presence true. You see? Actually, it just say, and then it also validate length. Right? Now it say right now present is true. Basically, if you don't have a password, then it will complain, hey, this is blank. If the password is more than the max length, then it also complain. There's a constant here in the code, okay? And then there's this thing, validate confirmation of. It's a bit weird. But validate confirmation of, actually check for the value of password confirmation. Check with password. Make sure these are the same thing. Does that sound okay? Valid. You need another, this is like a virtual, not a real table column, right? This is like it's a virtual attribute. It's a virtual column. Okay, it also say include this instance method. I mean I have a user, that's my instance method. Add user. So I can say user is this person, right? It gives you a method that's called authenticate. If you pass in the raw password, even though in the database it doesn't have that password, but it will encrypt it and it will compare. So it will tell you, it will return you true or false. That one make sense? It is maybe a little crazy, but authenticate is just that, comparing, right? It's called is this password. I can explain this, but just know that it returned true or false. If you're curious, you can ask me. Now there's a funny thing over here. When you see the equal here again, that's a setter, or in Ruby it's called the writer, right? When you pass in an unencrypted password, what does it do? It say, hey, are you setting password to nothing? If you are, then I will set there digest, which is the encrypted form, to nothing. It's like resetting your password. Make sense? If you give me a new password, okay, if you give me that, then I will use Bcrypt and I will encrypt that. Cost here is just how slow you want it to be. Okay? So it's like, oh, this encryption, I want it to be really slow. But you know, you use up the server and you don't want a million users to sign up and your server is not that strong. You don't want this cost to be crazy. But honestly, the default cost is good. So you can set the cost if you want to be extra safe. Most of us, don't worry. Default cost is good. So it just encrypt the password and then store here. So this is almost the method I could put in this encryption.perform here, right? I just pretend I have something like that. So technically, I can implement this myself like this, and then I have to add some, edge case. This is unencrypted password, right? Now because this guy did everything for me, so I just use everything. So you have nothing to worry about. Everything is just that. Now if I load Rails console, all right, A is user.new. Let's give it an email, example.com. All right, password. You see, has secure password, so you can actually say ASDF. So that's your user. If you save right now, would it work? Does it satisfy all this validation? Yes, right? So you see this, password digest. There's a $sign here. So there's a cost 10 over here. It's a little tricky, but then the rest is the password hash. And so this is just telling you, it just has some logic, how it encrypts the password. You don't have to worry about it. Now if I save, begin, it will save, and then I have A as the user, right? User.last or user.find by email. Okay? But then you say, in the form when you sign in, you're like, authenticate. Who here remember the password? This will return false, right? This will return true, but it actually returned the user itself. It's the same idea as true because I already have the user. Okay? Alright, so with that, let's implement the, this one has been waiting for us. Right? It's like, crashing. Okay. You know how the password thing works now? So I am going to implement this function, this thing right here, view user new. You can use the bootstrap thing, form group, form control. You guys know that. Also, it might be good to call this, pass in a placeholder, and there's another thing called placeholder password. When you sign up, some people like to put password confirmation. Confirmation. Is that okay? Wow, it's too bright. I can't see. Confirm. Okay. So it's like this. Now let's start playing with different combination. But if you submit, where does it go? Def create. We already learned the form. If you click this, right click, inspect, you know exactly where the form is going. Alright, where's the form going? You see this? Action/users, method post. Great, so it's going here. So what do I get? User is, who knows how to implement the user thing here? And then you pass in the params user, right? Can you try to turn off this light? I cannot see, yeah. So it's like this. But Rails will complain because it's called unsafe. What if the user pass in an admin column and then you have an admin column here, and then you can actually set anyone as admin. Okay? So now the convention is you call this user params, and this is the step to make it safer. I like that. Keep the light. Turn off this light. All right. So who here know how to do it? Require user permit what action? No, I mean what attributes? Email, password confirmation. Okay. If you're lazy, you can say permit all. But come on, we know what we need. So up here is user params. Now if user.save, then where we go? Redirect to maybe root path. And then we set the flash message. Success. As account user created successfully. If not, this is interesting. What do you want to do? You can redirect back, or you can just render it. Why? You just render the same view?
Because it's so error.
Yeah. You have the same user here, except this time you actually render new and you have a user record with values and errors. Right. So let's try it. New, press create user in here. You see it redirect back. But why does it go down here like this? Who knows? It's because the Rails does a little bit more. You see this fields with errors? Fields with errors? Actually, Rails wraps some of the fields with it. When you call, so let me just style, let's say in here application, right? This is application, I don't like that. Application.css, so it just changes to SCSS. One more time. And then maybe here, I have nothing here, right? So I just I could import Bootstrap, but I don't have it. Import home. Okay? Maybe users too. Maybe let's import users. So where's my user? User style sheet. I can do field with errors. Let's display or something like border 1 pixel solid red. Alright, so it looks like that. So these two things are somehow invalid. How do we display the error? So that helps a little bit. Sometimes you don't really care, right? That's okay. We need to display the error though. So how do we display the error? Does anyone know? What's that? Actually, display inline block. I just make this a little bit. All right, it looks better, right? Okay, so user new. Now here you can display the errors. Some of you already know. If user.errors dot what?
Any.
Okay, any or present. Right? Is there any error at all? So yeah, maybe any is a weird method. It takes some argument and sometimes it doesn't. I don't want to confuse you guys. So if there's an error, then what?
Error is done.
Huh? Okay, user.errors do each. So this is error. That's one way. You can just do, I don't know, what is this object? So I'll just print it, okay? Uh-oh. That's because I just refreshed that. Okay, let's try again. Create email, password. I think this is like an error. Yeah, so you can say .messages. You can look into the structure, okay? So here, maybe it's easier to look at it here. User.new. User, let's say you try to save. You see it cannot save. Now a.errors. It is a bunch of things, but then you see that it has, in each one of it, you have a messages. Uh-oh. This is one object, but then you say messages. Alright? Cannot be blank and cannot be blank. So if you want, you can display the error this way. Messages. And then this is key value. then you can say here like key is, there's an error with this key. What is that error? Is value. So I will create, don't worry about this one, create user. There's no more of this. See that? Obviously it's an array because there may be more than one errors with email, so you can just say join this guy together in a string. Yeah? Or you can join it as a, if you use two sentences, it just means A, B, and C. So do this one more time. That looks good, right? Maybe you can add around here, you can say, if you have Bootstrap, then you can just say alert, alert, danger. Then it will appear red and it will be okay, yeah? All right. Oh, sorry. It will be in a div. Now, sometimes you get really easy, lazy with this. You can actually just do what I normally use, user.errors.full messages. I'll show you here. It just combines the key and the value, and then you join them. You can join them with this, right? Or I just like to use two sentences because it adds an and to it. Okay? Right? If you have an array of A, B, C, D, and then two sentences A, B, C, D, and E with the comma. So that looks nice. Okay. Wow, we still haven't finished task 1. Email, enter. Password cannot be blank, so this one is really, I wish I have Bootstrap right now. Alert, danger, put it in a field. Like this. Alright. One more time. Enter. That's good. Hey, two sentences. Okay, what else? Password. If they don't match, right? It also password doesn't match something. So you can play with it, style it better with your form. I think I'm almost done with this, except now I really need to do a real user here. ASDF, create user. Oh, email already taken. Oh, good. So maybe B, enter, and I get redirected to home page. What's happening? I have some problem with flash messages. Who here knows how to display flash messages? Right? You can also do the same thing if flash dot any, right? Then you can say flash each do key value. So it's like success or error or something like that. And then in here you can say something like, I just call these two then, right? But next time if it's success, you don't want to call danger, you want to call success. Okay? So value. How do we test it? Well, I go to home controller, I just set it. When you set flash message, it will state the next request. I don't want to set that, so I just set now. It's a current request. Let's see. Alright, user created what? That's like from last time. Alright. Hello. Oh, it's like freezes again. Alright, go to localhost. Hello. Make sense? If I refresh, but this time I cancel it, it disappears. It should disappear. That's called now. Now is this current request. Most of the time you don't call now, but you call, this is not good. This refresh is not good. Alright. You call this because it redirected the next request. So it saved the message in the session once. Okay? So let's try to create another user. C. User created successfully. Great. So I think I'm done with user can sign in by this. Uh-oh, I forgot name. That's okay. User can log in. Let's implement that. But before we do that, let's check whatever we had so far. And I'm just saying, hey, I added Bcrypt, right? I mark this is done. I style the users a little bit. And I have the user controller implemented, right? There's some helper file I don't need. I have the model, the view. Seems good? Okay, so I speed it up and say implement. What I did is I implement sign in, sign out. Let's check the second mark. Go to home page. Now this is a little tricky. No one will see sign. Okay, if you sign in already, then you shouldn't see sign up. We'll change that later. All right. How do we sign in? New user. Are you sure? Oh yes. New session. What? Okay, that's fine. Let's go a new session path. There's thinking here. Right? Oh, it's a new thing. This is called restful thinking. You think everything is a resource. Oh, I'm creating a new session. So do I do generate session? You think? Do I generate this? No, there's nothing to store, right? Alright, so what do I do? Maybe I generate controller, sessions controller. Yeah? Why do I generate a sessions controller? Because I'm doing new sessions path. So technically you can actually go here and you say resources, sessions. No need model. This guy is just giving me a few routes. But I don't need everything though. I only need new. New session. Oh yes, destroy. Right? But okay, there's a problem with destroy. Why? When you do this, it expects you to go to session/123/destroy. I actually want sessions/destroy because I already know there's only one session. Right? So let's just only have new here, which then look too stupid. Why do we need that? Let's say session new, right? And there's a delete, session destroy. Looks fine? Alright. So if you do that, let me just check what routes I have so far. Session here. Oh, this is called session new instead of new session. So if you really want, you can call this as new session. If you really want to call it like that, but why? Just call it login. Yeah? So then down here, I call this login path. Does it make sense how I make decision with routes? You have your flexibility, but sign in. All right. Click on sign in. This makes absolute sense. I go to a new session, so let's implement this. Session new. Now there are two ways to do this. When you are already good with Rails, you can use a fake session model. But I'm going to use something simpler for now. Form tag. What is it? Session. Where are you going? Session. Login controller, right? Yeah. So if you see, this is nice. If you do resources session, you can do this. But because I don't have it, I check my routes again. Oh, when I confirm, I need another one. I call post, right? Oh, so I kind of like calling resources session, less typing, but it's okay. We call it. This is what submit. I don't know. Submit login. Submit login. And you're posting to sessions. Does that make sense? When you do this, it should go to sessions create. Oh, there's a lot to learn there. All right, does that make sense? So if I go form tag, where do I go? Submit login path. Do. There's no F. Okay, that's the form. Now some people, because they like using. That's why sometimes it's kind of nice to just use session here. Only create, okay, only new and create. Then down here you can say I go to sessions path, and then that submit a post to it. I don't know, it's your call, okay? All right, because this is sessions path, go to sessions controller, create. All right, so what do we submit? What is this form? Text field, tag, name, placeholder, what? Email, right? Not name. But then you have to pass a value, nothing. And password, and you want another thing, submit tag, login. Alright? Now if you log in, you submit, it will go to this create. So let me just prove it to you. Create here, new. Oh, I need to turn off this auto load. It's more of a hassle than, because Rails 5 doesn't really like my reload thing. Okay. Press this. Alright, we go in here. Let's handle it. You know, this is what has been submitted. Email is blank, password filtered. Cool, huh? Rails actually does not print it in the log, so that you look at the log file, you know your user's password, right? It's filtered. So that this log in production, your user information is protected, right? So what do I do here? User, how do I find user? Find what? You can say find by email, passing the params email like this. This is a regular find by. You can find by anything. Another way you can say find by email. That's again, Rails has a lot of magic. That's good. Then what? If there's a user, right? This one you can actually say error. You can say flash.now, error cannot, user not found. And then render new again. Remember we have a def new here? Okay, so let's try that. So let me turn this off. And did I type anything incorrect over there? Oh, when you do this, you have to pass. If you have to pass in the param. Let's sign in again. Okay, so what is it? Press enter. User not found. Good. What if the user is found? Let's check the password. If user.authenticate, let's put in here. Params what? Password. Then, what do we do? Here, you include another error here. Incorrect password. Render new. Good, so we have this part. But what happens when the user... So, create a new session. So that's all it is. Session, user ID is user.id. And then what else do we do? Take the user to correct user. What do you call it? Login successful, right? Login successful. All right. Or welcome back, or whatever you want to call it. Redirect to root path. Okay. So let's do that. First, I have incorrect password. Wait, why is this password wrong? Text field task, no. Password field tag. Alright, so let's try this again. New. Okay. Alright, this time with wrong password, incorrect password. Hey, wait, I need this to be in here. So you can actually pass in here. You see mail? You can actually say params email. So that when you, similar to when you sign in, right? It passes back. Okay, great. Now go back to, we already signed in. this right now, this page is broken because we're calling it login path. I changed my mind one more time and I call it session path. It's really up to you, okay? You can, one more time about the route, sorry, too many options for you. If you want to tell user to go to /login, you can do this. Just tell it to go to sessions new controller. That's the syntax. This happened a lot. Right? Yeah, that's so easy to write, right? I should have done that maybe. So I just, I'm just noting it out. Now I say, that may be the best, but anyway. Then you have login for free, login path for free. So where am I? And in this new session path, still wrong. Okay. It doesn't prevent you from having more than one names, by the way. If you want, you can add login path there. So now there's a problem here. I'm already signed in. How do I know? So now we need something called, similar to, you already know, it's called current user. We just learned that current order thing. So now I'm going to go super fast. So if I have a current user already, okay, then I return it. If not, then it will start calculating. So now I say session user ID. If this exists, then user, current user is user.find session user ID. Okay, what else? If not, what do I return? Nothing, right? So if not, return nothing, and it will return nothing. So I think that may be okay. Huh? Oh, all right. Okay, well, if we do that, and then go to layout. Now, if this is in your nav bar, you don't have a nav bar here, but let's say if current user, you want to use this, but I have it in the controller, so I need it in the view. How do I do it in the view? It will now complain current user, where is it, right? You can define in application controller the same thing, but why copy that code? Application, you can actually define this here, right? But I just copy, make this method helper method, current user. All right, let's put it in private. It's funny, in Ruby, private is not what you think. It's like everyone can inherit from it, so it's technically protected. So don't worry about that yet. So if this current user, what are we doing here? Cannot find user with, I think we stored the session in user and then, huh? Oh, this is session. Great. Reload. Oh wow. Why didn't it crash? You guys are helping me a lot here. Where is the sign up? Weird. It should have crashed, huh? So session ID, okay, fine. Now go back to this guy. If this, then you say you are welcome back, okay? And then you pass in here current user dot email. Let's chat. Obviously now, okay, great. So that's how do you log out? And then you say log out. Now you can say again, let's implement logout path this way if you want, but I can just say destroy, So let's say logout path. So what exactly is logout path? You say delete here. Delete log out. Pass in this string. Now this time you have to change this to the pound because that's a controller action thing. So welcome back, log out. Now to log out, go to session. Let's implement destroy, right? How do you destroy? Yeah, you can just clear it entirely, or you can just say user ID. And then what? Flash, something like this, right? Log out, come again, something like that, and redirect to root path. So let's try. Log out. Oh, it's a GET request. How do you make it? Okay, method. Or you can put it in a form. Destroy. Delete or destroy? Delete. Let's try again. Click here. Delete. Log out successful. Come again. Now here, sign in. Obviously, you don't want to display this homepage index here. So let's move all of that into. This is the layout. This is home. Let's move this guy up here. Obviously, because it belongs to maybe all the navbar stuff. But now, if the user is signed in, so you don't else here, right? So let's say we have a navbar, something called class navbar here, and in here I have if the user is signed in, then I do that. Else, then I say sign up. Does that make sense? If and sign in, right? Okay. And close the nav. Make sense? So when you come here, you sign in. Welcome back. Now you can log out, and then you log. Same thing. You can sign up. Okay. Now, a lot of time nowadays, we don't care about password confirmation anymore. Is that correct? If you set a wrong password, just reset it. Why do I have to type my password twice? Especially people like me use a password generator, and I just never remember, to type my password. So you can remove that. Actually, it will work the same way. Okay. So I don't like password confirmation at all. It will just become automatic. So this, I create a new user called. I don't even know how to why I type example.com is too hard. Okay, so welcome, sign, created. So after you create, you can also choose to sign in the user, okay? Here, if you want, optional, sign the user in without logging in, right? You can also, another thing here is email the user, right? It's easy. You read up action mailer. Of course, we'll teach that like later, but that's optional. All right. So given I've implemented that, I can check this. After login, taken to a page, list of incoming messages. Let's do that next. So I say, again, let's see what I've done so far. Generated sessions file. I haven't used them. Maybe in real life, you should delete them. Look, helper method. Application controller has the current user. Now current user is used in any controller you want, in any view you want. You have session create and session destroy. Okay? And you can change the routes a little bit. And you put everything in your layout file. And the form tag, your question there is when to use form tag. In this case, it makes sense. You can use form 4 if you can create a fake session model. Or you can create a fake model called user sign up. But that's maybe if you take my advanced Ruby class, I can talk about how to implement things in a cleaner way. So this is like finish, implement, login. Next, let's implement messages. Taken to the pages with incoming messages sorted in descending chronological order. Does that make sense? It's like newest first, like latest message first, right? And then you have new message, add friends, everything. Okay. Should I implement Bootstrap so it looks a little nicer? It looks too ugly. I'm quite embarrassed about it. Okay, so how do you implement this model? This is harder now. Rails generate. You can do maybe scaffold. No, never use scaffold. By now you're good enough. So just do model. All right, message. So what do we do now? Message from A to B. Huh? So I have a message model. How do I store message from someone to someone? Huh? So sender ID. Okay, maybe I put this in it. All right, sender ID and then what? Recipient ID. That sounds like email, right? Similar. Sender, recipient. Message.sender, message.recipient. Is that okay? All right, what else? Subject. And then what? Body. Is that just like an email? Okay. Let's just do that. Sender ID. Recipient ID. Now you cannot use references. It doesn't understand. So, ID integer. And then subject is a string, and then body is a text. Great. DB migrate. Oh no! Wait, no, don't migrate yet. Why? Let's add some index to it. Yeah? Because, well, technically you should. There's a better way to do index, but for now, let's do that. I think we're good. Return what? Create two user table.
Yeah, the sender ID should come from the user.
Yeah, this is sender is user. Yeah, it's just we cannot use user underscore ID because we don't know what it is. If you use, huh? Great question. So now you can say belongs to sender, right? But then you might forget how to type it. So go to this, belongs to, and you can say, you can look at the example. Oh, this is not a very good example. Here, you can say belongs to author, and then you say a class name person. So I can say class name. What is my class name? And when you say user is the class name, then belongs to sender, it will find sender ID, sender underscore ID, and then it will connect to user. Same thing here for recipient. Okay? Let's try. So if you create a message, create, obviously now I can have message, I don't have validation yet. Do I have any user? Yeah. So let's just do this for now. I have a message. See, belongs to is actually required. So that's why I cannot create. Don't believe me? I get this object here and say errors, or it say must exist, must exist. So one way to say not exist, I say optional, right? But do we want sender and recipient? Yes, all the time. So let's just create that. All right, so what do we do then? We have A as user, first user, B as second user. Damn, they have it. You can type second and third. Until fifth, I think. That's crazy. Do we have a third user? Rails is too crazy, right? Oh, come on. Maybe it's fifth. All right, and then 6. I don't think you have 6, so it's just, all right, it will crash. All right, so A and B, now I create a new message. Subject is first, and then sender is A, recipient is B. Awesome. See that? Right? So now you can have, now because I forgot, I tend to do this. You can use underscore to get the result. So I say A, now message is underscore, I get the previous one. So now I say message.sender, good, message.recipient, it understand, right? How do we get the list of messages? Go back to Readme File. After logging in, user is taken to a page that has a list of incoming messages. Let's implement that. It means after logging in, so where do I log in? Here. Instead of going to root path, I go to messages path, right? It's like incoming or outgoing, so maybe my inbox, right? So you have, I don't know, maybe call incoming messages path. Okay? Obviously, if you do this, it will crash. So I need to generate a route. Go to resources, messages, do. All right. Now, messages slash all to display everything for now. That's index. So I need incoming. So this is incoming. Okay, not incoming, index, right? Incoming. I should go to, I can have a custom incoming message, right? So if you go to Rails route, you actually have a way to define how many messages do you do in incoming? Many, right? So it's under collection and you say get incoming. That's it. So that's a collection. It means when I define this, let's look at our route. It's quite clean, right? Incoming messages path. You see this? When you do collection, there's no ID between them. If you do member, then there will be an ID. For example, you have a member do, and for example, you have a post marked as read. You post to that, but you mark one message as read. Let's see if I have this right now. See, marked as read, it's a post, and there's an ID in between. Make sense? All right, so all you need to know is I have this incoming action. Uh-oh, I don't have a messages controller yet. Controller, messages incoming. All right, so what is this incoming here? How do I get my incoming messages? How do I get it? Huh? All right. So if you do Rails DB console, if you the SQL people, you can say select star from messages where recipient ID equals 1, right? Put a question mark, and then what's the first user? Select star from users where that's it, limit 1. I get the first user. First user ID is 1. Okay. So there's no message to me. Ah, I see, because earlier I didn't create one. Is that 2? Oh, see? Right? For the user 2B, there's an incoming message to me. How do you run this query in Rails? That's MySQL people, you can play with it that way. I am the Rails person, and I go to user, and I can say incoming messages. I can define it. You can do it the most stupid way. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You can even do this. Has many incoming messages, but then you have to tell it what class name it is, and then what condition it is. So I think let's just do this for now. This is simpler. This is completely straightforward, right? Incoming messages. I like that. Anyone who read that can understand. So go back to messages incoming. So maybe if in root path, actually I want to make it even easier to see. In here, if user is signed in, redirect user to incoming messages path. Okay? So I'm already signed. I accidentally closed my icon. Alright. Oh, it knows how to restore this. That's good. Or why no content? Screw that. It's okay. Yeah, I have a tmux session, so it save it for me. It's not a problem. So where's my thing over here? I sign in, right? Sign in. I know as B, I have a message. Incoming, great. Let's implement the messages here. How do you display messages? Let's say we have a table, right? No more bootstrap. So table, we have t head here, we have from, we have to, and then maybe just look at your email subject, body. And in t body, here is the list of incoming messages. Is that clear, guys? So then here it's the same here, t that message dot from, no, sender. message dot what? Recipient. Of course, you have to do dot email here, right? Another way is to tell Rails how to convert that to string. I can tell you later. This is what? Message dot subject, and one more body. Let's change this and refresh. Does B have any messages? And then maybe I say here, you have, here, change in here. You have incoming messages dot size. Okay, I'll explain size, count, and all of that later. And messages. B has no messages? B equals to user dot, no, this is, yeah, B is what? User dot find by email B. Let's send him one. B dot messages, so let's create a new message to him. Create what? You know? Notice I have this message dot where I can do B dot incoming messages. This is empty, but I can also call create. And then you just say message, hello B. And then from sender is maybe A. Alright. It's crazy, right? You can chain that together. I still have no messages. Something's wrong. What's wrong? Recipient. Alright, let's look at the log, right? What is it loading when you do this? Load. Messages income, user, it finds user, but it doesn't do anything with messages. Messages. Oh. Current user dot what? Incoming messages. Ready? Oh, great. Now, how do we display this in email? You can do dot email for each one of them. You can, there are many ways to do this. One good way, if you like to do it, it's more code to write, is that you can type this sender email and create this sender email method in the message for this one, sender email. What I don't like is typing dot, 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 dot. This is like very easy to break, and it violates the principle of least surprise. It's if you read in law of limiter. So try not to do it. Of course you can. You can read this, right? Not dot. So don't have too many dots. Okay. Well, that's one way. Another way is that sender Rails know how to display that. Okay. What is sender and recipient? They are user, right? So you can say 2s and then you just email. Okay? So for some people, you can even display this, maybe you display like full name and then email in your real app. It may look like that, look like a contact. Yeah? But I don't have full name, so just email. Great. Who spot one problem with this path? The last thing before we leave. If I am not signed in, crash. One thing you need to do is to make sure the user sign in so you can view something. So how do we do that? Go to messages here and I call something. Don't use before action too much, okay? But here is require. So you can say authenticate user. So if you use device, you have that already. So device, create this method. All right, let's say I don't have an exclamation mark. It's the same. All right, let's just put it there. Look exactly like device. Maybe I don't want to put the same name. I say require user. So obviously, what should require user do? All right, remember it inherit. I want this require user. You can use it anywhere in other action too, right? So it's in, you go to application controller, down here, def require user. If current user is what exists, right? then there's nothing. So if user doesn't exist, then what do? You say redirect to new session path, right? And what do you want to say? Flash success. Please sign in first, right? Of course, you can also say here flash success. Please log in first. Right, so go here, boom, please log in first. Okay? And then you log in. So in Vietnam, in China, you see, if you see sign up, sign in, maybe it can be confusing. So some people don't like using that. They say sign up and then log in. Or you use sign up, you also have like register, create account, right? Using sign up and sign in is a nice and easy way for a programmer, but for your user who has only 1 second on your website, they will click on the wrong link, for sure, right? They will go to here because now look at these two forms, they look exactly the same, right? And then they enter this, and then I cannot sign up. Idiot, you signed up yesterday. Go to log in, and then maybe when you implement your real apps, you smart enough in sign up, you check. Are you trying to sign up? This already exists. Just need to enter the password to log in, right? Or some other time, people say, I log in and I don't see my messages anymore. You know why? I'm B right now, right? I log in, and I think I'm logging in, right? But if I type my email correctly, then at least this one will prevent me from happening, right? Like this will say already taken, good. What if I mistakenly type my email like that, and I'm B, right? I log in and say, where's my messages? Where are my messages? And this will happen to your user, right? Because they just go to the wrong sign up instead of sign in, and then they enter the wrong email, and then you go into your user database, you see very similar email. And then now you have to code a feature to do what? To merge accounts. That's the pain. Maybe you can do that, a few weeks later. Okay? So hopefully we cover a few important ideas, and start early. You can have any question you can ask me there. Relationship between user will be a little bit complicated, but it's very similar idea here. That it's like, relationship is between user and user. It's the same model. So far we have between user and message, user and incoming message, user and outgoing message, right? But with user you have a relationship within yourself. So think about that, and maybe you can create a friendship table, right? And then put the user ID there. Yeah. Thank you guys.